Zone. I'm Denise Jones, and I'm here with Matt and Nas.
What's going on?
How are you guys doing?
Awesome. I made it to this chair.
You really did?
I'm one more. I got one more left.
You're moving up in the world.
I'm moving up, man. I was hanging off the edge last week.
You really
so
were.
I'm here.
So I'm relegated too.
Don't get too excited though, because as soon as Britt comes, you're back that way.
That's all good.
And I won't even be here.
I'm just trying to enjoy my moment. That's it. That's it.
It happens.
Okay, let's get right on to it. The banana boat question. Do you see a reunion happening in next year in 2018 with Wade, James, oh my goodness, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Paul?
Yeah, I see it happening. They've been talking about it for 3-4 years now.
They have.
They're all upcoming free agents next season. I could see this team assembling. I don't see how far they would go, because they're gonna have to have a bench around them. That team can't just play with that starting 4 and 5. But yeah, we'll see. But I think this is gonna happen. I really think it's gonna happen.
It's
not gonna happen.
Oh,
not gonna happen. No team is gonna sign 4 starters that are over 30. Are you kidding me? That's not gonna happen. What are you gonna do? Just be like, take all our young players away from us, and we're gonna just go for it for a year or two with all our 32-plus-year-old players.
I think the chances of it actually happening are true, just because they're all gonna be free agents in 2018,
and they're all gonna be like 33 or older.
They are gonna be old, but LeBron James has said many times that he really would love to make this happen, to play with these guys, and he would even take a pay cut to make this happen. So I feel like just NBA coaches and owners, more than anything, would really just feed off of, oh my God, look at all, the games that we're gonna win. Look at what they did to the Warriors. Like, the Warriors don't care.
Here's what I think. I think at this point, LeBron doesn't give a crap because his legacy is already cemented. Carmelo Anthony, I mean, all he has to do is win a ring. Just one ring. And that's it. And same with Chris Paul. Dwyane Wade's old as hell. His knees are giving out. So he's just going to join that team.
This team wouldn't even make it through the entire season.
So they wouldn't beat the Warriors if it was the case that they happened to.
No, they would not.
He doesn't agree.
Maybe if they played like at the beginning of the year in a 7-game series, they might have a chance. But after an entire year, there's no way that team beats the Warriors.
I mean, I might have to agree.
What if they had Paul George on there? And what if they had the Greek Freak that just so happened to...
I mean, what if they had Magic Johnson from the late 80s? Like, I mean, maybe then, yeah.
I just think Wade being there and them wanting Wade, he's going to be a non-factor. Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, and LeBron, I mean, they still got some legs under them. So, I mean, I don't think they can beat the Warriors. They could probably win a game or two, but to take that, I don't think so.
Okay,
and really don't
lastly,
think so.
Where would they go? If this just so happened to happen, where would they go? What team would it be?
I would say New York.
Yeah, I mean, they can't be more of a dumpster fire than they already are, so why not?
Exactly. I feel like the Knicks would just say, screw it, let's sign those players. They have a lot of cap room. If Carmelo takes a pay cut, because, they're not going to go to Houston. They're not going to go to Cleveland.
Right, they're definitely going to Cleveland.
So I just think New York is like that best spot. Great city for them. Yeah, right there. So I think it would be the best spot for them.
Okay, so here's a follow-up question. With all the NBA contracts and just the business in the NBA, do you think the NFL will ever amount to having contracts like the NBA?
You know what? I don't think so, but I feel like NFL players these days should be getting paid more when they're getting paid, because, I mean, if you look at it this way in the NFL, there's 52 players.
53.
53 players.
There's 53. Thank you, Nas. That's
why
you're here. Okay, switch seats, please.
I'm messing up on my numbers today. Take it, Nas. Take it.
It's all right.
I'll come after you.
I agree that they'll never catch up. There are way more players in the NFL than in the NBA. And so if you look at it, you have, 15 players on an NBA roster, not counting any of their like D-League players or whatever that they want to bring up. And then you have 53 per NFL team. And you have such a higher turnover rate, you can't guarantee a contract as long as you can in the NBA, because the percentage of players that get injured and then can't fulfill their contract is much higher than it is in the NBA.
Right.
So it won't ever amount to that.
Which makes sense why, like, if a player gets picked up and they get an $80 million contract, they're not going to get, unlike an NBA player that pockets the $80 million, the NFL player is going to get $20 million this year, $40 million the next year, and then we'll see where the rest goes after
A lot of it's incentive-based, too. It's like
you
have to do a certain amount of stats, you have to get to the postseason, you have to, perform at a certain level, and then you get those big contracts. But if you think about, like, you're just average guy on an NFL team, he's getting paid a little more than league minimum maybe, and I mean, there's just so many more players.
Yeah, I think that's the main reason why it will never get to that point where, you know, the contracts are going to be the same, just because of that same reason. Like, there's just too many players to fulfill that amount for everyone.
I think it just sucks that players like Odell Beckham, who's a superstar in the NFL, is getting paid less than guys coming off the bench that play 5 minutes a game. You know, I think it's kind of ridiculous, and like, the reason why NFL players aren't getting paid what they're getting paid is because the amount of players on the team.
It's the amount of players, and then no one's willing to go on strike and say like, hey, like, we're worth this much more. Like,
and the lifespan of an NFL player is so much shorter.
Much shorter.
So that when they negotiate contracts, I just hate how they're looked upon as the bad guy when they negotiate the contract, and they're like, wow, he's not in camp, he's giving up on his team. But no, like, you need to make what you need to make, because that contract is not fully guaranteed, and you could tear your ACL tomorrow and you're not going to be the same player. So it just sucks for NFL players right now when NBA players are getting paid bank, you know?
It's true.
So
it's true.
MLB players are getting paid even more than NBA players, though.
But nobody's talking about the MLB.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there.
Talking about focus on the NBA and the crazy. Look at Steph Curry's contract. What MLB player is getting paid that right now?
Dude's making $40 million a year. Like, it's crazy. Bryce Harper, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say Bryce.
Bryce Harper.
They were talking about him getting a $300 million contract.
It's ridiculous.
So it's, and also I think a big factor in it is the amount of games that the NBA plays and the ridiculous amount of games that the MLB plays. So seeing that only the NFL has 16 games, I mean, you got training camp, you got a long off season. So I think that's why they're not also getting paid as much as NBA players do.
Yeah, it's probably hard to justify the amount of money per game. Even, I mean, that could be an argument. I don't know.
Yeah. And again, like kind of like you guys mentioned, like with NFL, it's more talent based and how long you can go about producing this. And I feel like with the NBA, these trades are more business driven than talent driven sometimes. So it kind of takes away the incentive. Like, hey, let me do this and this, you know, like an NFL player would do, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I just think the whole injury concern, for me, like going back to it just kind of sucks for them, because, I mean, you can bet on yourself and guarantee your contract for next season, you can get hurt, so that's what I think. Tough
times, man. Well, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We are going to enjoy the rest of our weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.